Why do you laugh, G? Oh, no. Control yourself, madame. You cannot be in earnest. A joke, yes? No.
In the age of cancel culture, no one is safe, not even fictional characters. If you told me 5 years ago people on Twitter would find issues with cartoons that came out 70 years ago that were no longer broadcast on television, I'd say you're crazy. Remember how they said the world was going to end in 2012? Maybe it did, and we're all just in hell. I bring the point to Lola Bunny. She basically now looks like Bugs Bunny in drag, or Slappy Squirrel from the Animaniacs. And this is supposed to be progress. Don't get me wrong, I think thottery is becoming the downfall of a generation, leading to an incompatibility between males and females that we won't really see the issues or repercussions of until maybe 20 years down the road when America's like Japan and it's like, there's no more children. We're dying out. What do we do? You can't celebrate women on OnlyFans during Women's History Month like selling is on the same level of the goddamn suffragettes. But poo-poo the original design for Lola Bunny for being too sexy. Call me crazy, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. At least Lola Bunny had some damn clothes on in the children's film. If you gave thoughts the ability on Twitter to promote themselves, they would promote their OnlyFans on Toy Story without a second thought. In fact, look at any viral tweet, you'll see women promoting their OnlyFans page. But remember, this is empowerment. On March 6th, a journalist who wrote an article that went to the effect of all white women are inherently evil decided it was time that Pepe Le Pew was taken down a peg. In this tweet that sums up modern journalism to a T, he laid out how this 70-year-old cartoon that's no longer on television was problematic. It's pretty much like, your grandfather. He had a drinking problem, but he died before you were born. And someone in the family always brings up how your grandfather is trash. And technically, he doesn't affect you. He's dead. And I'm sure we've all been there. You've been to family gatherings where someone talks about a family member you ain't never met. Pepe Le Pew is a godforsaken cartoon. The whole premise of Pepe is that like a black cat, sometimes male cats, get white paint on the tail, and he chases them down. Can we at least congratulate Pepe for at least being attracted to black women? Granted, they were cats, but still, Pepe kept it real. You never saw Pepe chasing a white cat. That's all I'm saying. I can honestly say I haven't seen a Pepe Le Pew cartoon in decades. And I can honestly say most people haven't. Like, even sitting there going like, this is problematic for kids. What kid is seeing Pepe Le Pew? If Pepe Le Pew ain't doing the floss on Fortnite, I can assure you your kids haven't seen Pepe. And I can also assure you your kids have seen worse things than Pepe. Who are we kidding? You give your kid a phone, I can guarantee you walk past their room at night, you're going to hear, "What are you doing, step bro?" And that's a whole lot worse than Pepe has ever been. When you do safe comedy, you end up with The Big Bang Theory. A show so lame it needed a laugh track so you knew where the jokes were supposed to be.
And cool, clear Rocky Mountains spring water. Where are the Rocky Mountains anyway?
Philadelphia.
Really? I thought they were out west someplace.
Think about it, Raj. Where did the movie Rocky take place?
Philadelphia. Okay, now I get it.
So this is the plan? From now on, we're just gonna hide out in here to avoid the shamey?
Here we go. See, it doesn't.
Every joke on that show was drier than my ex-girlfriend after seeing me cry over my dog being crushed by a car. He goes on to say that it helped teach boys that no doesn't really mean no, and that it added to culture. Yeah, sure. Pepe turned his generation of men into
used to satisfy his sexual desires, especially during the 1970s and 80s, when he was most active and prison security was more lax.
When I see one, and he looks good to me, when I go see him, I say, "You come here." I say, "I'm telling you what, I like you, and I want you." And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right?
Let me be frank with you. The cartoon will not inspire you to be a rapist. If someone is a piece of shit, they will be a piece of shit regardless of media. The very idea is insulting to me, honestly, because it insinuates that people are too stupid to know right from wrong. And it also absolves parents of the arduous task of being a parent. My God, how draconian. And let's be real here, guys. How many times have you heard this? It's over, we're done, I'm through with you. And you go, fine, I'm leaving, because she's leaving you for another dude. Then she bounces back weeks, if not months later, and says this exact phrase. And I hate this phrase. I hate this one more than the next one. Why didn't you fight for me? I don't know. You told me it was over and I should f off. That's why I didn't fight for you. You told me no, so I left, for God's sakes. I had one chick who I was messing around with who was like, okay, I need you to tie me up and I can't escape. And it's like, why? Because it turns me on, you idiot. And I'm like, okay, but what happens if like I tie you up and it doesn't hold, because I'm not really good at tying knots, it's not my forte. If you like me to play some music for you on the guitar, that's my thing. Tying up women, not really, I'm not really good at that. It's something I never thought of learning. And she goes, if I get free, I'm immediately turned off and the mood is ruined. And I thought to myself, it sucks being a man. You have to know exactly what they want. You got to read minds. And you also have to be Harry goddamn Houdini. You got to know how to do a slip knot, for God's sakes. If I could successfully do a slip knot, honey, I wouldn't be here. Anyway. Pepe Le Pew, the controversial French skunk from Looney Tunes, will no longer appear in Space Jam: A New Legacy after his scene was cut. Basically, IGN talks about a scene that the original director came up with a storyboard for, where Pepe Le Pew is in a Casablanca scene and he starts kissing on some woman's arm. I don't even know who this chick is. And it's basically Pepe Le Pew. He kisses up her arm and then she slaps him. Who cares? On top of that, a Casablanca? Like, really? You're going to do a Casablanca scene with Pepe Le Pew? Talk about two outdated references. One, Pepe Le Pew, older than dirt. And two, Casablanca? Wasn't that like 19? They didn't even have color in movies back then. Now that's a dated ass reference. Anyway, the scene got cut by the new director, and Grace had this to say: it was such a big deal to be in this movie. The spokesman for Santos said so she couldn't even say the shit herself. Even though Pepe is a cartoon character, if anyone was going to slap a sexual harasser like him, Grace wishes it would have been her. Now the scene is cut and she doesn't have that power to influence the world through younger generations who will watch Space Jam 2 and let young girls and young boys know that Pepe's behavior is unacceptable.
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
This would be so she could influence young men and women to know that this is wrong. It's a cartoon. And then I would show the world through the power of my acting that Pepe Le Pew was a problem. That would be her life's achievement. She slapped Pepe Le Pew, the cartoon, in a cameo. Honest to God, the only way kids would be exposed to Pepe Le Pew again outside of Space Jam is if he grabbed Dream's ass while playing Minecraft. I think the bigger issue right now is due to everyone being locked in their homes. They're now looking for some sort of power, any kind that they can obtain. And oftentimes, human nature requires someone else to be ruined in order for the masses to feel better about themselves. I don't know, but I can tell you what I do know. This madness will not end. Friedrich Nietzsche was right. Over 120 years ago, we are currently living in the age of the last man, and the herd morality, and the herd mentality.